Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and on today's video it is time to figure out what is my best book of 2023. Firstly, I want to apologise, my voice may be a bit weird because I currently am recovering from COVID yet again, and it's affected my chest and my voice, so I apologise if I sound a bit rough, but we'll just have to go with it. Anyway, I was inspired to do this by Elizabeth from Plant-Based Bride. I've been following her now for quite some time. The past couple of years I was inspired by her to do a book bracket like this and do like a little book of the year showdown, but this year is the first time that I haven't been filling it as I go, and I've waited until the very end of the year to go through every single month, look at my favourite books from each month, choose my favourite, and then hopefully narrow it down till I find the book that I love the most. I like to randomise my months on the left hand side. I just find it adds an extra layer of fun. I'm going to be using my laptop, which I have right here ready to go, and I have got my core pile system and spreadsheet up on the screen ready for me to go through and find what my top books were for each month. I'm going to do, even though they are randomised here, I'm going to fill them in order just so that I'm not bouncing to and fro with my core pile, and then we will go through each of these. I recently did a best of the year video, so if you want to know about these books in more detail, I'm pretty sure all of these books will be on that video. So if you want to know more about them and why I love them so much and why they've ended up in my top of the year and in this bracket, please do go check out that video. But first up for January, our contenders are Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune and Wayward by Amelia Hart. This is really difficult for me because both of these books have resonated with me for very different reasons. Under the Whispering Door was beautifully written. It made me think about grief and the afterlife and helped me to come to terms with a few emotions that I feel towards those subjects. But then there's also the fact that Wayward just really gripped me and was a very powerful story and was a genre I don't typically read, and yet I loved, and I also voted for it in the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I think because it was something that was a bit different for me, something that made me really think and was very unexpected for me to love, and like I said, it has stuck with me all year, I'm going to go with Wayward by Amelia Hart for my January pick. For February, we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake and I Hear the Sunspot by Yuki Fumino. Again, I love both these books, but Delilah Green, I loved it and it was so good. And when I've talked about it in that best of the year video, I remembered just how much I love it. So for February, we will go with Delilah Green. For March, there is only one book that got a really high score and that I really loved, and that was Alpha Night by Nalini Singh. So that is the only contender that we have, so therefore it is the one that we are writing. For April, we kind of have a three-way. We have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, we have Storm Echo by Nalini Singh, and we have The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa. However, because of how unexpected it was that I ended up enjoying this book and this series, it's going to have to go for Raven Boys, because honestly, I had that last year on my DNFs and I thought I was never going to go back to that series, and I did, and now I am low-key obsessed, so that has to be the pick. May was a pretty good reading month for me. We have The No-Show by Beth O'Leary, Beach Read by Emily Henry, and Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I'm going to go with Beach Read because I had a really personal connection with this one and it just hit me on multiple levels. June, there was one clear winner. I adored this book. I have raved about this book so much this year. It was so good, and that was Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. I listened to the audiobook and let me tell you, it was incredible. July was a toss-up between A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin, because I just had a really fun time with it, and Our Dining Table by Mita Ori, which was a manga. But honestly, Our Dining Table was raw, it was beautiful, it was LGBT, it was found family, and it was just a hug in a book. So for that reason, that will be my pick for July. August is another month where there is only one book that was the outright standout winner. It was another Nalini Singh. She comes up every year, but it was Resonance Surge, which was the latest in the Psy Changeling series, and I was sent a copy from the author and I loved it, and it has some of my new favourite characters, plus it went back to my favourite group of all of the changelings, so I was even more happy with that. September was a really, really good reading month for me, and for this reason there was actually quite a lot on here. There was Sweat and Soap Volume 1 that took me by surprise and was just so good. There was My Hero Academia Volume 17, which so far is my favourite of the entire series. There was also Cat Gamer Volume 1, which as a cat owner and a gamer resonated. And then there was Blood March, which was book 2 in the series Legendborn, and I think that one has to win because it was just so well written. Everything was just so perfect. I maintain it's one of the best debut series, especially for YA. October wasn't the best reading month for me. I had quite a small selection, but of that included a reread of one of my all-time favourite books, and it is still one of my all-time favourite books. It will come as no surprise to anybody when I say that Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas made the cut. For November, we had, again, a couple. We had A Rose Among Thorns by Ash Fitzsimmons, and we had The Way of the House Husband, Volume 1. And as much as I loved The Way of the House Husband, A Rose Among Thorns wasn't one that I expected to love as much as I did, and I am now obsessed and need to know what happens next. So that is going to be our pick. And then finally for December, I'm still reading a couple of books, but I don't think anything is going to be better than The Reanimator's Heart by Kara Jorgensen. Like, I have other books that I'm wanting to get to, but it's now only 2 days until the end of the year, so I don't think anything else is going to come close. So now we have to do our pairings. June, Boyfriend Material, March, Alpha Night. I'm going to be quite quick with this to try and get it done as quickly as possible, but we're going to go with Boyfriend Material. I love Nalini, don't get me wrong, but Boyfriend Material was new, it was exciting, and I have thought about it a lot this year. September and July, Bloodmarked versus Our Dining Table. This one's really difficult. But in terms of the one that I think about and has had the biggest impact on me, I'm going to go with Our Dining Table. It's nothing against Bloodmarked, but it's one that I've just wanted to reread over and over and over. Wayward versus The Reanimator's Heart. So first of the year and the last of the year. As much as Wayward stuck with me and I loved it, The Reanimator's Heart, it had autism rep that spoke to me as an autistic. It had the sort of magic I love. It was everything that I love. Now we have the Battle of the Boys, which is ironic, and I didn't plan for this, but we have Cemetery Boys and Raven Boys. And oh god, this one is so hard because obviously I've become obsessed with the Raven Boys. But Cemetery Boys is such a favourite of mine and I love it. And Julian was just incredible. It's got to go to the Cemetery Boys. I've got a feeling though Raven Boys is going to be in again next year, so watch this space. A Rose Among Thorns versus Beach Read. Neither of them have had a lingering impact. And if we go by how I was at the time of reading, I think Beach Read had the bigger impact on me. But for longevity, rereadability, and series that I will go back to, it's going to have to go to A Rose Among Thorns. And then finally, the most painful one I think of the year, Delilah Green versus Resonance Surge. As much as I love Delilah Green, it's always going to be a very difficult battle when you are pitted against Nalini. Okay, let's go. Boyfriend Material, Our Dining Table. It's Boyfriend Material. Hands down. Luke and Oliver were fantastic and one of the most realistic portrayals of relationships I've ever seen. Ooh. or this one's like, these two are so similar. It's just, this is like the YA version of this, and in different ways, with spirits and paranormal and sassy characters and characters with LGBT, and oh my god, there are so many comparatives between these two books. Cemetery Boys, I love, I idolise. We all know it's an all-time favourite. And The Reanimator's Heart, it was new, it was fresh, it was a series I know I'm going to love, so I think it's got to go to The Reanimators. And then finally, again, A Rose Among Thorns, Resonance Surge. There, unfortunately, is no comparison whatsoever there. It's Resonance Surge. Now comes the really evil thing. So Boyfriend Material, The Reanimator's Heart. I think it's going to go with The Reanimator's Heart. Like I said, I resonated so well with the characters. I loved the writing, and I just felt so proud that I helped get it in, like, the BBMYA. I feel like I've not really done a good job of this. I feel like I've missed a step. Because now I've just got this same decision between these two. I actually think my book of the year, I think it's going to be The Reanimator's Heart, if I have to choose. But of the two, Resonance Surge is obviously the next book in my all-time favourite series, but The Reanimator's Heart was such an incredible start to a new series that I think is going to very easily end up in my all-time favourites. And like I said, it had the LGBT rep that I love, it had the autism rep that was fantastic, the plot was great, it was a little predictable but not super predictable, all of the characters were unique, and the more I'm talking, the more I'm realising I am actually really happy with that decision. So I'm going to say it. The Reanimator's Heart by Kara Jorgensen is Book of the Year for 2023. I didn't actually expect that, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm actually really, really happy with that, and I'm smiling. You can't see it, but I'm grinning really strongly. So I'm really happy with that. Let me know in the comments what your Book of the Year for 2023 is, if you have picked one. And were any of these in your favourites for the year as well? In the meantime, I hope you're all good, I hope you're staying safe, and until next time, bye!